The Browns' offensive line ranked dead last in multiple categories. You can ask PFF, NFL, ABCDEFG. It's a dog water offensive unit. So although the Browns have made some major strides in picking up some interior offensive linemen and signing Titus Howard, the obvious pick, and also Mel Kiper's pick, for the Browns at number 6 is going to be Monroe Freeling. It's not a sexy pick. It's not super cool and flashy, but Monroe Freeling is a freak of nature at about 6'7", 6'8", big dog. He can move. He played for Kirby Smart out there in the SEC. I showed you a few weeks back his film against Colin Simmons. Y'all know I'm biased, so I think he handled him pretty well. Colin Simmons is going to be another top 10 pick, and it seems like Monroe Freeling could also be a top 10 pick. This is what Mel Kiper said the first 2 rounds are going to look like for the Cleveland Browns. So is it really been exposed what they're going to do? Is upgrading that offensive line so important? And as a matter of fact, putting a rookie at left tackle, it does seem like what's going to happen. We're going to listen to Baldy on 92.3 The Fan, as well as Ryan Wilson. Don't worry, I would never click on these for Sports Boy 20. I would never do that. Let's hear it.
Since he is a pure left tackle, there's a lot of people going, man, they may reach for him and take him at number 6. Would you be comfortable with him at number 6?
I like Monroe Freeling. I mean, I actually watched him quite a bit this week. He's got the size. He's almost 6'8", and he ran really, really well. He's on his feet at Georgia. He's just not very strong. And you're going to have to just be – I think he's only 21 years old. I mean, he's going to get a lot stronger. If you're willing to be patient with him, I think he has the chance to be really good. But if you're saying, okay, we're going to take him number 6 and play him right away, I think Myles Garrett, in practice might destroy his confidence. But I mean, I do like him. It seems awfully rich though at 6, and I don't really pay much attention to mock drafts or where people are taking him, but he's going to get taken in the first round. I just think that his core strength has to get a lot better. You constantly see it. Like he just has to get, he's just a young kid that's athletic. I mean, I think you just have to be patient with him, but I think he could be a real good player.
And, Monroe Freeling, and a lot of these mock drafts, and by the way, be on the lookout. March 31st, we're going to do a mock draft spectacular. Just keep a lookout. Anytime I've done some mock drafts, I did some a few weeks back, and my conversation at number 6 is like, unless you're going to go find out, unless you need a guard, right? And I'm not saying Fano can play guard. I'm saying unless you want to take a guard or you want to take somebody who could potentially be like a swing tackle into guard with Mawanoa, right? Who can also play tackle, but honestly might play guard at the NFL, right? Those are the more polished players. But Monroe Freeling, you're picking just for the insane upside. Super long, super big, super athletic. Like a lot of things that's very hard to teach offensive linemen to do. It's easy to get offensive line stronger because, I mean, that is literally the base of what most offensive line coaches, it's typically the base of what a lot of college coaches do too, is they typically beef him up and get him stronger. So getting him stronger, that is the only thing, but at the same time, that is something. You're not going to get a finished product like you will with Fano, like you will with Mawanoa. But again, with Mawanoa, the conversation is that really a left tackle or is that a tackle that you might have to kick into guard? It becomes interesting. So I thought that was really great. Bally does some great things. The breakdowns are elite. Here's Ryan Wilson of CBS speaking about him as well.
Monroe Freeling is shooting up the board right now for a lot of folks. Is 6 too high?
Yes.
Why?
He's a good player, but I mean, if we're looking at offensive tackles, we've been talking about since August, and he's played just as many games as those guys have. He's to me first round, second round guy. That doesn't mean he won't go in the top 10. But if we're talking about these offensive linemen, I would take Spencer Fano or Caleb Lum, the two Utah guys. I would take Caden Proctor ahead of him, and then I have him in the same range as the right tackle from Arizona State, Max Iheanacho, and then Blake Miller, the right tackle from Clemson. Now, Monroe plays on the left side. So the other thing is this. Is DeJuan Jones, are we done with that? I know he's battled injuries. I know he's going into the final year of his rookie deal, but it feels like to me there are bigger needs at guard where they have currently Tevin Jenkins and wide receiver. Like if we're sitting there at 6 and the conversation is Carnell Tate or Monroe Freeling, I'm running up there to get Carnell Tate. Monroe Freeling may not even play his first year. Carnell Tate would be the wide receiver 1 the second his name is announced. So that is confusing to me because I've heard it elsewhere. Doesn't mean the Browns won't do it, but that's just my perspective given, I've seen all these guys going back to last summer. And look, if you love Monroe Freeling at 6, I suppose you could take him. But I'll just circle back to the original question, Lima. If you traded for Titus Howard, and if DeJuan Jones is your left tackle, is Monroe Freeling, what's he doing next year?
No, it's fair, totally fair question.
Yeah, true.
I mean, look, here, I'll say this: if you took Venga Ioane, the guard from Penn State at 6, that would make more sense to me than taking a tackle.
Did I not say that? Did I not say that? I said you're better off taking now. Finau is a true tackle in the other tackle, but I'm surprised he didn't talk about not Mawanoa. Mawanoa is a tackle that if the conversation is what are you going to do at left tackle, and let's hypothetically said Downward Jones is playing good football. Well, I could kick Mawanoa on the inside. I could take Titus Howard, and Titus Howard has guard reps. I can put Titus Howard on the inside and have the rookie play right tackle. Right. That's what I would answer there. But again, I don't know how much football Sports Boy 20 watches. I don't I don't think he has the answers for that. But on top of that, right, I do think the Browns are on the cusp of making a major decision. Let me
there only because he's going to start on day one. I'm not saying you should do that. Maybe trade up from 24 to 18 or whatever.
But
if
rather,
that's prerogative. Mm-hmm. But I'm just trying to figure out where you're putting this guy. You need guys to play right away, and I suppose you could trade DeJuan Jones or have a plan for him. But if the plan is for him to play at least one more year and figure it out, I'm just curious why you would take a tackle.
So Ryan Williams actually has he agrees with some of the things that I say. First things first, we have to speak about unless you're getting Finau or Mawanoa, right, or you're getting a surefire guard and you need a guard play. I don't know if you need a guard after you just re-signed a guard, signed a guard, and you have Elton Jenkins. I don't know if you need a guard, right? So Monroe Freeling, unlike Caden Proctor, right, which I look at Caden Proctor as there's some things that need to be finished there. The way Ryan Williams puts it, he puts it in the world where Monroe Freeling has even more to do. Now I do want to point something out. Just a month ago, Monroe Freeling was edge of the first round type of guy, project guy. Now the Browns started getting talked about. Now there's just all of a sudden there's this conversation that Monroe Freeling goes at 6. I think that is just wrong. I've been saying that for a while. Not Monroe Freeling. If you get Mawanoa, if you get one of the best offensive linemen in the draft, but if you're going to draft someone that you're going to have to invest into, right? He's not some generational technique guy, right? Finau, Mawanoa, those are the technique guys. The guard from Penn State, those are the guys that are going to come in and start and really shut down. Like they're going to be dogs right away. Not to say that Monroe Freeling can't do that, but you're going to have to invest and develop and put some time and patience and technique into Monroe Freeling for him to truly be the player that he is. I think it's interesting that he puts Caden Proctor over because I see Caden Proctor as less refined than Monroe Freeling, so maybe he knows something I know. I do want to point something out that's also crazy about this draft. I don't think Jordan Tyson's going at 24. This is what happens when we sit here and there's no football. We start overthinking players. Other players become first round top 5 picks. And I told y'all this. I told y'all this last year. I told y'all this a few months ago. I said, hey, welcome to draft season. Everything you hear is a lie. Monroe Freeling might not even get drafted in the first round. We don't know what's going to happen. But right now, there's so many things shooting up. You think Jordan Tyson, some people think Jordan Tyson is the best. Sorry. Some freaking gargoyle fell down there. Some people think Jordan Tyson is the best receiver in this draft, and now you're going to tell me that all of a sudden he's going to go at 24. I don't see it happening, dog. I don't believe it. In the same way that I don't believe, I believe if Georgia reaches for Monroe Freeling, they'd be making a massive mistake, especially when the need for wide receiver is much greater. Now, just to say that, right? Now, just to say that, I do want to point out some of the good and bad and good of our guy Monroe Freeling because he is an exciting person to watch tape on, right? Now this right here, this is if you do want to draft Monroe Freeling, this is the reason you want to draft him, right? Because he might not be generational in his technique, he might not be a generational prospect holistically, but man, if he is not a freakish athlete, right? So here he is on this left side. Obviously, you see him. It's the big dog, right? It's gonna be a little screen action here, Bobo loved the screens at Georgia. Obviously, wanted to get Zachariah Branch involved early and often, right? Now, here's what I do want to say. For as much as me talking about technique, hey, he's lacking in technique. I love what he does here. I love what he does here for the screen, right? So he takes his hands up, he shoots his hands really quick, he locks onto this defensive end. He don't give him a lot, but he gives him just enough because he got to go out there on that hoop, and I think that just that little bitty hesitation allowed him to get a little more free, maybe get him to hesitate a little bit, get this ball out, and now I like to look at in the same way that it's important to look at a tackler, right? A tackler, you want to look at how you're attacking this, right? You need to attack this inside from outside in because you've got help on the inside, right? Now, similarly, on the offensive line side, how are you going to attack this blocker here? Are you going to find the right help? Does he need to be looking here? Does he need to wheel this off? And then, of course, how control is he? Is he under control? Can he find the right angle? Can he make an effective block? It's one thing to put your body in front of somebody. It's another thing to gather at 6'7", big dog, right, and create a lane. Look, that's some good stuff right there. That's some good stuff. Oh, he's rewinded. He's rewinded. Okay, cool. That's some really good stuff. Get in the lane, put his ass to the sideline. Boom. Hey, that's what you want to see. This is what makes you excited. This is why people think that he could go at number 6. You're going up against a faster, it looks like defensive back, possibly safety, right? Maybe a skinny linebacker. And he immediately gets on this outside shoulder, scoops in from the inside, is able to wall off and create some space for Zachariah Branch to go get busy, right? Again, against Mississippi State. Now he's on the move, right? What kind of run game do you want to do? Can your left tackle move and groove? Well, it seems like he can move and groove. And again, the track. I want to see where his eyes are. I want to see how he attacks it. How can he open this out? Shout out Grant Delp. He needs to be a first-round pick tight end. I'm just saying, I love Georgia tight ends. I'm sorry. I am so high on Georgia tight ends. Darnell Washington, obviously Brock Bowers. I think Oscar Delp is another one of those things. Anyway, he gets busy too. But again, let's watch it, right? A run you can kill a run as a offensive lineman if you don't find help in the right way, if you don't open up the right block, right? There's a lot of eye candy here outside, right? But now I want to see what Monroe Freeling does. What does he use? Where does he go? He goes right at 21. He gets right on this outside of the shoulder. Boom! He moves bodies. Oh my God. It was so much in there. I almost got flimmed up. But boom, he blocked him so hard, he don't even want to block anymore. Hey, dog, this is boom! This is like when you playing with your little cousin or something. He said, hold up. Hold up. He said, hey. Get your hands up. Like, he went into regular. He went from athletic stance to, I'm just standing straight up. What? And then after that, I think he going to block 7-2. And then he blocks 2 people at once. Come on, man. You need that in your life. You need that in your life from the other side. Oh, no. Okay, so this is him, I believe, on duo here. Oh, no, because these guys are kidding. This is not duo. I'm not that smart in offensive schemes. However, what he is, his path should be getting to the second level because he wants to seal off because the run is going this way. He needs to seal off the backside backer, right? So when you're sealing off a backside backer, when you're sealing off a backer in general as an offensive line, right? Again, how are you attacking? How are you going to attack the flow? How are you going to go get him, right? Because he needs to be thinking here. He can't be thinking right here, right? He needs to understand that, hey, I'm going to have 2 guards pulling this way. What do pulling guards tell linebackers? The run's going this way, right? So this is knowledge. This is fluidity. This is speed. This is using his athleticism to take this inside powerful step, right? He doesn't overcommit, powerful steps, but he's trying to cut this off right away. You're going to see, you saw that. You see how he sees the guards. He gets a little more aggressive. He's already crossing over. He wants to get here, right? That's the linebacker that is. So now Monroe Freeling seeing that, boom, straight up, head on head, perfect. And this is why backside blocks are important. This is why, if you've ever played football, the backside linebacker is the most important position. You are the person theoretically that's going to make the tackle, right? Because, obviously the frontside linebacker should be making the tackle, but oftentimes, and there you see the frontside tackle number 7. The frontside linebacker is often going to have a lead blocker sent at him. What really happened is this frontside linebacker got a little too aggressive, saw too much flow over the top, tried to get over the top. The problem is he has number 4 out here. He already has help over the top. He needs to trust that his safety. He needs to trust that there's an edge set. He needs to trust that everybody's going to take this trash, and he needs to be right here. He needs to be right here facing him on. But that, again, would still leave 57 getting chopped up from the backside too. But, again, Look at what Monroe Freeling is doing. There's a lot going on, and the fact that he immediately has that shows the beauty of a backside backer. Backside backers, again, are the ones who make the tackles. You're the one who gets freed up, so you love to see that as well. Now let's see him again out in space. The subtlety. I like to see how you move in those subtle different movements. How are you selling different stuff? We're going to get a jet sweep here. Monroe Freeling is going to chop, chop, chop. He's going to open up. And look at that. Now, 74 is stepping on his toes. But it seemed like Monroe Freeling and Oscar Delp were perfectly in sync. He does his little, turnaround situation, right? And again, this is just to fool, right? This is the fool. These guys looking in the backfield, fool these guys, hold him, right? Tackle went this way. You just saw a tight end go this way. You see people sealing off blocks this way. Ideally, your eye should be going this way in that direction. But what instead happens is he chops a little bit. Then they push it back over here with a sweep. Now, 21 saw that pretty well. But it doesn't matter if 21's got 57. Again, bullying him. So that's why people love Monroe Freeling so much. He can instantly become a mobile attack unit, like a mobile attack unit as an offensive lineman. And this is what, if we go deeper into it, what Mel Kiper said about Monroe Freeling. He says the Browns are hitting the reset button on their offensive line. First, they traded Tytus Howard, then signed Zion Johnson, then Elton Jenkins, and re-signed Tevin Jenkins on their interior, tossing getting Downward Jones back from a season-ending knee injury, and this is a completely different unit from what we saw late in 25. Freeling could be the final piece of the puzzle. His decision to declare for this class was a little bit of a surprise, considering he had 18 college starts, but I see franchise left tackle traits. He's quick, alert, and pass pro, using his long 34 and 3/4 inch arms to his advantage. He's got every single measurable to do what needs to be done. But remember, Andrew Berry hadn't been at these pro days. You know who was at Georgia Pro Day? Kevin Stefanski. I mean, you know what I mean? You gotta give Kevo his credit when he can. Are y'all worried about that?
They did have scouts at the Freeling's Pro Day at Georgia. I think the same pair of scouts are going on to Alabama today. Totally opposite from a year ago when the owner, the GM, the owner's son-in-law, the coach, the coordinator, went across country to monitor every quarterback available in the draft. They're not doing it this year. Prior to last year, Andrew Berry didn't go to a lot of pro days. Last year was an exception because of the quarterback hunt. What it means about this year, if they're not there to watch Ty Simpson and to take him out to dinner and to interview him further, let's just stop discussing Ty Simpson connection with the Browns because it's not going to happen.
Wow. Hey, Tony Grossi of all people says to shut it down for Ty Simpson. I wanted to hear more about Monroe Freeling and what they thought. I think Monroe Freeling is going to be an absolute dog once he gets the right tackling and puts it into the right situation. Y'all let me know, should the Browns do that, or would the Browns be making a major mistake reaching at number 6 for a lineman that you're going to have to do some work with? Comment down below how you feel. Like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't. Subscribe if you like football content. Be great, be beautiful, and we'll see you next time. Peace.